Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
How was your week last week, Patty, with your niece?
Oh my God, it doesn't get much better. Oh my God, I'm first of all chaotic, but now I miss the chaos. Oh my God. I almost, this sounds corny, but I almost didn't want to wash their fingerprints off the glass.
Oh,
I
how old
know.
is she?
I'm sorry.
How old is she?
My niece is 40, her two boys, 8 and 4.
Oh, 8 and 4. What delicious ages. Yes, I'm actually having my grandchildren who are 7 and 4 coming over tomorrow overnight because they have no school on Friday. So I'm going to her preschool graduation in the morning, and then they'll come over in the afternoon, sleep over, and I have them all day Friday. So I know.
Now, do they come over once in a while so that?
Oh yeah. I
Okay.
think they slept over 3 weeks ago. So, when
Okay.
their parents go away or they go out, and from day one, they come over and they don't even skip a beat. Like, I don't know. I never hear, "Where's mommy? I miss her." It's like, oh,
Right. Right. Yeah. And,
this
when
is
I
home.
went to bed, I wasn't alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this little body next to me. It was just
It's
delicious.
delicious. It
It's
is.
delicious.
It's the
Precious.
best. The best.
Yeah. And everything has to be touched and explored.
Yes.
It's amazing, the mind.
Especially
how
the
open,
kids.
how does this work? What's this for?
Curiosity.
It's
That's what we
amazing.
lose when we get older, is curiosity.
Yeah.
I know Paula
bad?
knows the feeling too when she comes, because she's got her granddaughters close to her and they sleep over a lot as well. So it's the joy. It's the
It
joy.
is. It is. And whatever they wanted. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
I am 2 minutes away from the office. So I am going to, just give me a second. I'm going to participate, but just give me a second because it's easier if I'm not driving.
That's okay. We can start. We've got Arlene. We're just waiting for Cheryl, I believe. And and Paula to actually come to the camera. She probably just put it on.
Yes.
Hello, Arlene. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. I saw you briefly. I was on a Zoom the other day, just briefly. I think it was about profitability, I think. Yeah, I think
okay, yes. I was on profit share.
Yeah, profit share. So I see you learning and growing. My question to you is, what are you implementing?
Well, I am actively pursuing the profit share aspect of it. So
excellent. So you're setting up a system for that?
Totally setting up a system, have all my templates already set up, and I just kind of send them out, then have smart plans. Once I get them to a certain level, they switch to smart plans.
Very nice. Good for you.
I hear some background. Does anybody else hear it?
Yeah, I do.
That would be me. Sorry, I'm still on another Zoom.
Are you on? Okay. You're multitasking. Let's have that conversation.
From Zoom to Zoom. Are you doing pivot shift? What Zoom are you on?
That's the next book. The multitasking.
It's a business networking.
What is it?
Business networking.
I'm kind of new to this whole.
Okay, so you may want to mute yourself as we begin. So I'll start since Mary Beth is driving. So I'd just like to read the $64,000 question. I am convinced that they succeed through the power of narrowing their focus. You see, life just doesn't happen to you. Business success or failure just doesn't happen to you. It's all about choices. Choices about what you focus on and how you maintain the focus. So just to recap, we've gone through all the business models. So he's given us the tools in order to grow the business, leverage ourselves, know what we have to focus on, build a team, and then putting it all together. So this is really maintaining it. This is the culmination of, okay, you've got the pieces, now put it together into a plan that is what I think is holistic. It's not just business. It's really about everything. Your focus, what you're doing every day, and and your energy, which we'll get to, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
So we're on page 289, right? We're on 289
correct,
and we
correct,
are,
289.
this is the last bit before in the back of the book, you have all the people that were, all of their success stories that were culminated to create these models. So here we are finishing up, putting it all together, and the 5 simple steps on page 291. On 290 on the bottom, it says, at the outset of this book, I made it clear that we believe high achievement may be simpler than you think. Not easy, just simpler. What we meant by simpler is that what you need to do is clear, and it's absolutely possible for anyone to do it. However, when we say anybody can succeed, we do not mean everybody can succeed. There's a big difference. It's our belief that anybody can succeed at a high level, but why not everybody? Because of focus. We were talking about that yesterday, focus. On the bottom, it says, with this in mind, I want to suggest 5 simple steps. 1, create a personal plan. Make a process for your focus. 2, time block, or in bold, we're talking about time behaving. Time block to get your focus. 3, get accountability to keep your focus. 4, make your environment support your focus. And 5, keep your energy to maintain your focus. So those are the 5 steps that we'll be talking about, to finishing up, to putting it all together.
Right, and those are huge, absolutely huge, because I think that's the challenge we all have as human beings, is the focus.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of this is personal stuff.
Yeah.
Or has a
And-
personal overlay.
And it should be personal stuff, because from the moment you open up your eyes in the morning, you make a choice. How is my day going to look like? What am I going to focus on? How do I keep my energy up in
Right.
order to be productive and happy?
Yeah. How many
You know,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, because Patty, it said it's personal. This really is, this section right here, I think all of us can revisit like on a weekly basis. If something's off, it's usually going to be happening right here in between these 2 ears. And it's not what's happening outside. It's literally what's happening internally. We're out of control. We're not focused. Our mindset is not right. And if we just could go back to 290 every time we get there and just start to revisit these 5 steps, like, where do I need improvement?
Well,
Yeah.
every one of these areas every day, but just to focus on even that. I mean, I love the fact that, he keeps his energy up in the morning, and I don't want to jump ahead, but I
Yeah.
literally just went back. I really just went back to give Aaron like a really hug. And I just needed a hug this morning just to get my day started. So,
Aw.
if Gary Keller can do it every morning and get his emotional energy going, then it reminded me, I need that. So.
Yeah. And
Patty,
somehow
what were you going to say?
well, I was, some of this reminds me of Anthony Robbins, who a high achiever, and how, if you've ever been to one of his seminars, and I'm assuming everyone on this call has, there's a whole day devoted, or a whole afternoon, I forget, but just to your physical health, mental health, eating right, obviously mindset, but exercising, standing, it's where the phrase I had heard, sitting is the new smoking. Well, the first time I heard that was at an Anthony Robbins workshop.
True.
How about breathing?
Totally.
Right. Yesterday, Joanne Morgenwalter and I were having a conversation, and we just went, and she goes, "Yeah, right. Yeah, let's do that again. Let's breathe again, because sometimes we just need to stop." But going to 292, I have highlighted here in the center of the page, what I know for sure is that the achievement of big goals is only possible when the plan you are following is built from a big model. And then you make it the implementation process your focus. Like Orly asked, what are we implementing? What are we actually taking action on and doing? An amazing truth is that the process brings focus, even when we ourselves feel unfocused. Call it a trick of the trade if you want, but it's true. When you concentrate on the process of implementing a plan, that comes from a big model. Big achievement comes becomes not just possible, but more likely. Now, this doesn't mean that simply because you follow a big process, you'll hit a big goal. What it does mean is that it won't be possible to become your very best if you don't. Process and a path, not an event. Process and a path, not an event. Agents often get a listing or have a great conversation, and it's like, it's over, it happens, and then that falls apart, it whittles and dies, and then it's a process. It's not just an event.
Well, it's the difference between having a predictable business or bumping into business. And I think a lot of agents bump into business. They'll do some of the things some of the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's not a predictable business.
Yeah.
And the bold law, what you focus on expands.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not focusing on a plan and you're just running, that you're going to get more of that. As we look here, it says aiming high, and we know listings, leads, and leverage. Those are the 3 L's. And on the back on 294, it talks about try.
I know,
Now,
I like that one.
Bold, yeah, we know try is, there is no try, there's only do, right? But not to be cute, try the real you. I would ask you to view the word as an acronym for the real you. The real you can show up only when you try.
And I think also the real you comes out only when you're beyond your comfort level. Only when you become uncomfortable is the real you possible.
Is the real you
I think
a good you, or the real you could be the person that maybe is not a good real you for this business? I'm not talking for myself, just for anybody on your team. Let's say if that real you comes out, right?
Well, you're right. The real you is going to show up. And when the real you shows up, it may just be a reflection of this is not for me. Or, when it gets stressful, can I handle this? Because this is just not what I love. I'm not finding enjoyment in this.
Okay. I didn't mean to be on the negative, but I just want to point.
It's
both.
another way to look at that. I like that. You made me out of my comfort zone.
I mean, I think that happens all the time, that we if you're a leader and you can grow from it, you try something, you're not really succeeding at it, but you want to master it, so you go back at it, and you go back at it. The kid that can't make the layup and he keeps practicing, but there's something inside him that there's passion around. I want to accomplish this. I think when we try and we get like, that was too hard, then we get to self-realize like, this is not for me. So self-discovery in that process is huge. Thank you, Paula. And as you are bringing people into your business, we need to have conversations to check in on them, because like we've talked about in the past, a lot of people run with a high S behavior. And what will happen is they will mask that they're fine, that everything's good, that I can do it. And meanwhile, inside they're dying, and they're just like, they hate it. And before you know it, it's going to blow up, and it's going to affect you as a leader if we're talking about people that we're bringing into our business. Yeah. So they have to be trying, but you have to be monitoring how they're showing up when that's happening.
Exactly. Perfectly said.
Good point. So 294 brings us to the second point. The second point is time blocks for focus. Yeesh. If everyone had the same amount of time, then success at a high level isn't about how much time you have, but rather how you use the time. Wouldn't we agree?
Yep.
And on 295, it says in the middle, high achievers are sensible enough to prioritize activities according to the ability to make their business grow, and then time block their calendars to ensure that they have the time to do them. So high achievers aren't going to treat every task that has to be done equally.
Yep. Yeah.
So how do we do that? How do we do that? How do we measure?
Howard Britton always preached and taught us to focus every single day on what's called dollar productive activities. If you weren't doing dollar productive activities and you get into the habit of doing dollar productive activities, everything else is just busy work. And dollar productive activities is obviously lead gen, negotiating, listing, and selling. That's it. It's not going to the closing. It's not writing up the offer. It's not,
Putting
those are the
Fine.
only things that will make you money. So if you focus on dollar productive activities, which is what's on my calendar every day, those are like, a habit like that. I got to go to that because otherwise I feel unproductive. Like, what have I done today? What did I do to bring myself one
let's
step
remind
closer to the
ourselves.
goal? What's that?
What are
Mary?
those dollar? I said, let's remind ourselves. What are those dollar productive activities? What do you consider?
Lead gen, number one. How many
Right.
people did I
Calls,
speak to
making
today?
calls.
Do I have appointments? So I had 3 appointments yesterday. To me, that was a productive day. If I did nothing else yesterday, which I did,
That's right.
except for go on those appointments, that's a dollar productive day. So
That's
if you're
right.
not talking to somebody belly to belly or over the phone, everything else is just busy work.
And so early, if I DM'd 20 people, did I lead gen?
It depends because I was just listening to a podcast this morning about social media. And, there's a generation that will only respond to texting and DMing. But if you're having a meaningful conversation, not just how are you, and very surface, then yes, then you
let's
lead
talk.
gen. Yes. In fact, you know what? I texted a client last night. I was just thinking of him as I was watching television. I don't know why. And, we just went back and forth. His daughter moved back into the house. It was a meaningful conversation over text at 9 o'clock at night. And that was it. I just touched base.
Right, but you know what? The millennials really respond, Mary Beth, to texting. So if you
Yeah.
have in your agenda to reach out to people, because that's when they respond. In fact, that's the newest thing is texting a lot of people instead of calling them. Because think about how little time you don't want to answer your phone when you don't recognize the number, especially. So
Especially.
if you send a text and you meaningfully are saying, okay, I'm going to reach out to these 20 people today and text them to see how are they doing in their home? How are, what's happening? I saw you had a new baby. I passed by your house and your garden looks amazing. Like,
Yeah.
yes, that is definitely
It's lead genning.
productive activity for
Do
sure.
you feel,
So-
do you feel they need to reply back to you to make it count as a lead gen?
No,
Look,
not always.
Everything counts because it's a touch.
Okay.
Everything counts
Well-
because it's a touch. But I think you get extra points if they respond back. So Father's Day, I happened to be sitting by the pool
Yeah.
and I just texted like 10 guys that I just thought about in my phone. Happy Father's Day, including
Yeah.
Kevin, Paula.
Yes,
It was just,
Yeah.
and most of them responded with a thank you. I mean, it's an acknowledgement. It's a follow-up to your sphere. I don't expect them to come back to me with saying, oh, yes, I need to list my house because you wished me a happy Father's Day. But it's like, I'm thinking of you, not just about business. It's
So let's also be clear on when other agents are asking you about showing a property, how to get into a property. I can't find the key. I don't have a super key. I don't have a super key. Is that dollar productive?
no, absolutely not. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about,
No, I'm making it.
Yeah,
I'm making a
right.
point. That's all. I'm
Yeah.
saying that is not, and that's why we can delegate that somewhere else because
Now-
you be lead generating. That's
Can
what
I challenge you for a second? Because sometimes we fall into those like, oh my gosh, like dumb conversations, right? And how do we make that time useful? Could we connect with the agent and in our world have a conversation about their business and ask them would they take a conversation with our team leader, right?
Well-
So can we, when we're in those like kind
That's
of
a great point.
moments,
you're
can
thinking
we
of.
see the opportunity there?
Okay.
you know what?
Many
Not to
times,
be,
yes,
not to
but-
be mean.
No, but those people I don't want in my office.
I was just going to say, I was just going to say,
Maybe
when you're
somebody's
dealing
not
with,
helping
when
them.
you're dealing with those frustrating agents that are just plain, and I apologize in advance, stupid.
It's okay.
No, I am not having that conversation with you.
Okay, so back to the
I think I
DM.
mean
I
stupid.
really wanted to have that chatter on that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if there is conversation, see what you guys are talking about is the relationship's already built. So we are just cultivating the relationship. You're not building new relationships over a DM. You are, I mean, and you could be, but you're using it more to just, get them where they need to strike up conversation, how they're doing, and connect.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
So-
Sometimes you get a
You're
call.
making yourself top of mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You can use
Okay.
every opportunity, Mary Beth, and that's the positive side. Yes, for sure. I'm just saying that, I'm just pointing out that the certain things that you should not be doing as a rainmaker, let's say, to bring in business, those things won't serve you to bring in more business. That's all.
That's right.
So let's go
That's
back
right.
to focus. It's focusing on the 20% every single day that's going to bring you more business in lead gen. Those Happy Father's Day to me is not lead genning. That's just, touching
No,
your sphere.
yeah.
That's not lead genning. So
But it could be,
if you started a conversation, yes, but that's
because
not
you
what I
haven't
call
talked to them in a very long time, let's say. Maybe you're saying Happy Father's Day to someone you sold the house 2 years ago.
right.
It could be like a lead gen because, oh, she's thinking of me still.
Yeah.
And now Paula or Orly is top of mind.
You're right, but
But
that to me
even
is lead gen
ladies,
light.
you've both had the situation where that client who responds to the phone, oh my gosh, we were just talking about you. My sister needs to sell her house.
Right.
Yep.
It
What-
happens.
So like,
Yeah, what Orly said before, she doesn't know why
Mm-hmm.
this person has been on her mind. And to me, sometimes I think the universe does that.
Totally.
And that you have to
You're
jump
right,
on it, like
Kathy.
Mary Beth just said. You've got to
You're right,
jump. There's a
Kathy.
reason this person's on your mind.
That's
Right.
right. And she's very intuitive and clairvoyant and all those things. So, she's the queen
ooh,
of manifestation. So now you know what? She's going to get a call today. That person's listing their house. Just saying.
His daughter just moved in after college, so no, but he should list his house because his septic failed last time. And with this market, it'll pay for the new septic. So that's the next conversation I'm going to follow up with him, but gently,
Definitely. Yes.
So
so
focus and time
what I'll
blocking.
say though on your focus and time block is if it doesn't exist, you're not going to, if you haven't time blocked for it, it doesn't exist. It's not going to happen. So
Yep.
you need to be in charge of your schedule and you need to be in control. Can we schedule the whole day? I was just listening to the radio driving up and, they were giving advice for the weekend, like only pick 2 things that you're going to do for the weekend plan so that you're not stressed out and you don't have to be at this agenda, right? So it's the
Yeah.
same thing in your business. What are your big rocks for the day? How many people do you need to talk to? We're going to do a class today at 11 o'clock in Ridgewood, and it's about knowing your numbers. Like, do you know how many people you should be talking to a day? If you talk to them, how many appointments do you need a week? Okay, that's what you put on the time block, is get it in to get that done. Like Orly said, okay, if it's get appointments, 1 appointment a day. Well, she went on 3. Okay, it's a successful day. If she sat there and she talked to everybody, but she didn't generate any appointments for the week, she's probably going to reassess what her focus was because she didn't generate any appointments because the
Right.
goal was appointments.
And I think you get to a point in your career, maybe everybody does, but where my stomach starts to feel uncomfortable because I look at my calendar and I have my appointments because I'm a visual person, all highlighted in pinks. So every appointment is pink and I look and see how many pinks do I have for the week. And if I've got to have minimum, oh my God, I mean, I'm sucking wind if I don't have 4, but my goal is 6, 8. So, and if I've got the 3 on a Monday, I don't let myself off the hook. It's like, okay, that was Monday. What do you got going for the rest of the week before? So,
That's right.
because who knows what will happen next week, so it's always that,
Right.
that
That's right.
mental focus
And
of,
if you have a really busy day, I'm just going to give you my input and what my coach says. Just say, okay, in the most busiest day, make 2 calls a day, just 2. It really will only take you a few minutes
right,
because by the
Yeah.
end of the week, you've called 14 people.
right.
So if you even just don't give yourself too much, if you say, okay, I have to call 10 people every single day, no, it's a busy day between negotiating, going on appointments, whatever, then you're not going to do any of it. So if you at least say, okay, 2 people a day, by the end of the week, it's cumulative. So there you go.
Now,
That's right.
I have a question for those of you who do active lead gen every day in and day out, month after month, year after year. How do you avoid the boredom, the lack of challenge? How do you do it?
It's not bored for me.
Yeah, I'm not bored either because
Okay.
Tell me why.
you know what? I'm going to answer that. When I got into KW, and this year was very, very challenging, and it was all of a sudden I'm hearing lead gen, which, you know, I'm not in that mode before, even though I was lead genning,
Well, prospecting, yeah.
prospecting. But when I was calling around the neighborhood and just calling numbers, that to me was tedious. And I really didn't, even though I had great conversations, I can't say I got anybody who was interested in selling. So I said, you know what, this is not doing it for me. I'm not enjoying this. And I always say real estate is like a Chinese menu. There's column A, there's column B. Do what you enjoy, do it well, master it, and don't worry about the rest. So I gave myself permission to stop doing that because you're not enjoying it and I'm beating myself up. And at the end of the day, I have nothing to show for it. That I went back to doing what I enjoy doing, which is calling 10 past clients from my VIP list, my database every day, and calling 10 CMAs that I have done and following up with those people.
Every day you call 20?
Yep, pretty much. And if I don't do, I mean, sometimes I'm on a roll and I'll do more than 20 and the next day I'm busy, so I didn't, but that's like my focus. So I have a stack. Every day. I have a stack that I'm taking to the office with me. So I may not time block. I mean, I will try to time block, but I have it in front of me. And as long as I got through them before the end of the day, I feel like, okay, you deserve to go home now and relax.
But you know what? I found out a long time ago too. If you're not in the mood to make calls, sometimes because we're very social people, go visit someone, go have coffee with someone, go visit their place of business. You know, like I go around different places. I know people within Westwood. That's also lead generating. When you call somebody and you go to the hairdresser and you see 3 people, it's kind of lead generating, not intentionally always, but that also is a productive day that you have enjoyed. If you know, just call 3 people and say, let's meet for coffee that you never do before, that can be fun. And so you could make it fun like that too.
Yeah.
So you're
I love
confirming the fact that they say work your database. Instead of working on the cold calls, it's all work your database.
Right.
Tom Ferry told me, I had a call with Tom Ferry about a year ago. And he said to me, Paula, all you need to do is work your sphere, your database. You have so many in your database that you're not calling, just work your database and hire one more person. You need one more person. So that's, you know, what I did. So it's in your database and you're in the business this long. It's amazing how many people you have in your database that you haven't called.
How many are in your database?
Well, there's 4,000, but there's about 800 VIP.
Right. Same thing. I have 10,000 names, but 1,000 are getting invitations to my grand opening because those are my VIPs. Because when you have a database, you've got vendors, you've got other realtors, you've got, you know, so, you know, when I really came over to KW and put them into command, we had to scrub a lot and we realized that we have about 1,000 VIPs.
Yeah. That's awesome. One thing that Orly always says, and I just love it. I love it because it's what the job of a realtor is she says, I had X amount of CMAs. I did 6 CMAs this week. I called all my people I did CMAs for. Like, that is what we could be offering to anybody and everybody. Like, just get a CMA on your property. Let me do a home evaluation. Have you had that? An equity check. Like, even if our agents would just do that with their own sphere of influence.
Yeah.
No, honey, I'm not moving. No problem. I just want to do a CMA for you. so that you see where you stand with your asset, right? I just
You
love
know
how you
what?
talk like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they
it's
seem more
funny because
receptive of doing the equity analysis. When I presented as the equity analysis that they could be sitting on a lottery ticket right now, and they're they're being more welcoming for me. But I think I'm missing then the follow-up like the system after that. So with you saying call those 10 past ones, I think I give them too much time in between.
definitely, it's getting my foot in the door. And my goal is to have one of these orange intake sheets filled out. The more orange sheets, this is gold to me. Like when I see orange sheets all over me, that to me is gold, because those are potential listings. I got a lead from a Facebook ad that I did the other day. All I had was an address. So we looked up the person. I left a voicemail last week. I forget when it was, maybe Monday. She happened to see me. She called me back. I was so thrilled yesterday. She said, I saw you in the parking lot by your new office, but you looked busy, so I didn't want to bother you. They're not moving for another 2 years. I said, you know what? I understand you're not moving for 2 years. Your husband is disabled, blah, blah, blah. Let me just come in and just do, a consultation about what you should or not do to get ready in 2 years. I just want to get in there. And that's it. Then Jay goes on my follow-up program. And in 2 years, slam dunk, come list my house. They're not calling anybody else.
You never know.
Or if there's a need before then, they know where to go, and now you've already done the work.
Exactly.
And sometimes somebody says, I'm not selling, because they're scared, and it doesn't mean that they're not.
Yes,
No
true.
always
Yeah.
means no.
They're
So
afraid to let a realtor
they
chase
want to
them.
commit, right? They don't
Totally.
want
So I just tell them I'm just coming in for a consultation. I have no paperwork with me. Don't worry, even though I have paperwork in my car, just in case. But
How about when we go into a store and we're actually looking for something, and the lady goes, "Can I help you?" And you're like, "No, I'm just looking."
right.
Well, yeah, and then you go to look for somebody, they're nowhere to be found. And this is what my
And
buyers,
then you'll pick the next person, right? Instead of that lady just watching me going like, I know she's going to look for something. And then she goes over and says, are you looking for black dresses? Over here, look at this. And then boom, I buy, right?
Well,
Right.
the classic story, where did I read this? I read this somewhere or heard it. Black and white store. They have it down to a science. When you go into a black house, white market, you walk in, can I help you? No, I'm just browsing. No problem. And then they see you looking at something and you're holding it. Oh, let me start a room for you.
right.
And then you're in the
Yep.
room. Oh, let me just bring you shoes. Let me bring you accessories. I thought you might like this. Before you know it,
Yep.
$600 later, you're walking out of the store with
Well, this is black house, white market.
And then Arlene, they will, I get texts or calls, we're having a sale on those homes, on those, not homes, on those sweaters you were looking at, or on those
Yeah.
pants. That's the follow-up.
That's the
Yep.
follow-up. It's true. It's all in the follow-up. It's all in the follow-up. In fact, I was
All right.
thinking
So let's,
What you said, Paula, I'm so sorry. I had to get my water.
No problem.
So-
We were just doing the analogy of White House Black Market, and
Right.
then you were saying about the follow-up. Well, they will then call and say, we have a sale on this sweater, and they'll, come in because we'll give you 5% off, whatever. But on the other thing, like Orly does the orange sheets, I have 2 folders, red and green. My red folder are all the CMAs I went on, but then I also put it on a Google sheet. And then once I list them, they go in the other folder. So if I have this folder with all the CMAs, I just go through those sheets with the tax record. So I have the information, because I didn't start that orange sheet. It's a great idea, but now I'm going to have to go all the way back and go order orange paper and the whole thing. But but it's a great way, because whatever system actually works for you is the best system, as long as you have that system.
and the reason it's orange, by the way, it doesn't matter what color it is. The reason it's another color is because I learned through the Howard Britton systems years ago when we had folders, actual folders, until last year, before we were paperless. So everybody on my team, including myself, in that folder of all the papers, you could always pull out the orange sheet because it stuck out.
Oh, it's
everything
great. I think
gets
it's a
launched
great
off that.
idea. It's a
So
great
It's
idea.
so crazy. I think you guys all came from, I know you all came from the same school. My first broker, Adele, right?
Yes.
So she was, in the early 2000s, it was the red folder, the green folder, it was the yellow sheet, the green sheet, anything visual.
Right.
Anything visual to make it fun for us to say,
Correct.
oh, okay.
Yeah, buyer sheets are
know?
green. So I no longer work with buyers, but I had green buyer sheets. So yeah, you're right. And it kind of like differentiate. Am I ready to work with my buyers? Or am I ready to work with my sellers?
Yeah,
But
and then in my next year, I had purple and yellow folders.
I think she just froze.
I
Yeah.
think she did
To
too.
keep the years apart or to keep the years.
But now everything is on the cloud. So now, and anybody watching this will know that you have it in your Google sheet, you have it on the cloud, you have it in your CRM, you know, but a lot of people, no matter, even though they have the
No,
iCloud,
I'm a visual person and tactile. I need to touch it. I need to see it. On a screen, it doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
So I just want to read one thing. If focus brings results, then long-term focus brings long-term results. Everyone can focus on something for some period of time. The trick is to learn how to focus on something day in and day out for the long haul. Long-term results require that you focus your efforts on the smallest number of key activities that will in turn generate the greatest results. So exactly what we're talking about. It's the little things that you're doing every single day that gain you the long-term results.
It's every day. It's every
Every day.
day. Yeah, it's not.
We were just talking about, just staying in touch and saying, hey, literally just got this. I called them the other day just to say, hey, I was just thinking about you. And they literally just sent me a before and after picture of their house, of what they did. But but it works. I mean, now they're sending me pictures. Now they're,
engaging. They're engaging with you. It's not
right.
Cheryl who. And I always tell people, you could be schlepping a buyer around for 3 years. They're your best friends. You saw them give birth during those 3 years.
Yeah.
And then you didn't get in touch. Guess who's they're calling 2 years later when they wanted to move? They're calling me. And they actually call me and say, you sold me my house. I'm ready to move. And I feel so bad for that other agent, but hey, I kept in touch with them. They're now my VIPs.
if they're my friend, I feel bad. Not if they're not my friend.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I like how you're all talking about your focus, but you've also got high accountability with yourself.
It becomes innate. And speaking of accountability, he really stresses that you need a good accountability partner or a coach where someone's going to hold you to the fire and not give you excuses unless it's something dire, because every once in a while we do have to give each other permission. And I know Paul and I have done that for each other where we're going through something and we need to give each other permission to kind of take the foot off the gas. You need to self-care.
Without guilt.
Without guilt. And because we're such high achievers, we have to give each other or ourselves permission, because we do get that guilt of, my mother's in the hospital, I should be lead genning. No, you should not be lead genning.
Right.
But the point is, because we have that high achieving mentality of accountability, it's innate. It becomes innate. It becomes a habit. So who can you get to hold you accountable in your life to bring you closer to your goals, even if it's one little step at a time?
And that could be your coach.
Right. But if you don't have a coach, and don't have a friend do it, because your friend is always going to let you off the hook.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Right. But when you have, yes, you have coaches, but for people who have teams, I mean, your team should all be holding each other accountable also, because if you're not lead genning, that team's not going to exist. And
you're doing a great job of that, Cheryl. So yes, I've heard you, talk about that they're holding you accountable, because as the rainmaker, if you're not making it rain, they don't get fed.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So they have, as much as I hold them accountable, they have to hold me accountable also.
How often do you hold each other accountable formally, where it's an actual formal accountability meeting?
Once a week, every Monday. We have a what happened last week kind of wrap up, and where are we going this week? But we're in constant communication all week anyway. But that's the formal. That's the formal place where we we kind of go over where we were, where we are, why we did something or why we didn't do something.
I do that. And I also hold my buyer's agents. If I give them a lead, you know, at the end of
Yeah.
it, let me know when you connected. Because that's
Mhm.
my accountability of, did you connect? Did you convert? So I know that that lead has been transferred over smoothly. And then sometimes names will pop into my head with their leads as well. And I'll just say, hey, how's it going with this one? How's it going with that one? So. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
With your numbers in hand, accountability is about getting and using feedback. This means to take time on a regular planned basis to meet with whoever is holding you accountable, look at your business numbers and refocus your efforts. So, you know, it's somebody looking from at your business, I always say from a 10,000
Yep. Yep.
feet height. So they can look at all of it because sometimes you're in it, you can't see it from the outside.
Mhm. Yeah. Again, going back to Anthony Robbins, I was so impressed that he doesn't have just one coach holding him accountable, guiding him and holding him accountable, multiple coaches, various aspects of his life.
And you get a different perspective. You know, I've had
Absolutely.
multiple coaches at like a one period of time, and it was interesting to see the different perspectives that I would get from each. So let's go into the environment. Make sure your environment
love that.
supports your focus. I love this.
Yeah.
It's so important to be happy working in your environment. And I
Yeah.
know Paula is, you know, very, very focused and big on making sure her environment is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Her office is beautiful. Her home office is beautiful. My new office is going to be beautiful. You should see the pictures around it. It's just, it's a place where you want to, you just want to be
Happy
there.
place. Happy place.
Exactly. In fact,
That
I have a, this is my home office, but this is my happy place on the wall here.
Aha! I love it.
But
I
it
love
it is so important. And, you know, everybody here knows the reason why I left the other company, because I knew I needed a space that felt good so I can be more productive, and they wouldn't give me that space. And now with the space that I have, I mean, look at what I'm doing. I mean, I'm so much more productive. My numbers are so much better. I mean,
I so applaud you for that, Cheryl. A, recognizing your needs. B, knowing that that would be one of the things that would elevate you to the next level. And shame on them for not recognizing that and supporting you. So, but that's okay. Everything happens for a reason. And the silver lining is that you're here. So,
no, exact best reason. Yeah, absolutely.
and thriving and flourishing. So, but
Right.
very important to have that
Space is
environment.
so important.
Your environment has an impact on you constantly. It either builds you up and supports you, or it tears you down and fights you. Sometimes this is obvious right up front. Other times it creeps up and takes you by surprise. The more you are aware of the power of your surroundings to affect your life, the sooner you can address it and become the chief architect of your own environment. By being the chief architect, you reduce the risk of becoming a victim of it. As chief architect, there are two important design issues you must deal with: your physical environment and your people environment. And I love, you know, the people environment, because I've always known ever since I was a little girl that I can't have anybody in my environment that is not a positive person. I repel negativity. I repel people who are, you know, like to wallow in the negativities of life. They just know that this is not the address to go to. I don't give a shit. Go tell somebody who gives a shit, but I don't. Because these are people that like to complain and complain with no solutions. I don't mind if you come to me with an issue and I give you advice, but if you come to me with that issue for 3 times and you didn't take my advice, go to somebody else, because I have no patience for that.
If you want
So
to
the question you're always asking yourself is, does the environment support your goals? Is the environment going to actually aid you to do what you have set out to do? If you are looking to get into a training, an exercise routine? Are you putting your water on the side of the bed? Do you put your clothes out the night before? Is your husband there to say, come on and be supportive? So in all things in life, we have to make sure that our environment is supporting the goal that we're going after.
Yep.
And even if you are a single agent and you just have a desk at your house or it's your kitchen table, what you have to make sure your bunker, you have your charger, your water, your everything that you need, and then you need your sign to help you from your distractions, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
an office is great, and yet if not, find your little nook and make sure you have set it up properly.
Yep.
And the people
Yep.
thing is the law of the inner circle and the law of the lid, and who we surround ourselves with, we absolutely absorb. So just be careful with who you hang with.
Yep.
Right. High achievers tend to associate with energizers and synergizers like we
Yep.
do.
Yep.
The people who support their goals and work well with them to achieve those goals. People who consciously or unconsciously don't support them, who drain energy and disrupt synergy, are isolated and weeded out. Just like your mom told you, the kids you hang out with make a difference in your life. And somebody came up to me during the fundraiser that we were at on Monday night, Cheryl, and they were very, I don't want to say envious, but mindful of our relationship. And they said, I love the way you girls synergize with each other and empower each other and have each other's back. And I don't know any other way to be. And nobody else enters my tribe and my sphere who is not going to empower me. And I would love to empower them, because otherwise those are not real, authentic, positive relationships, and, not necessary in my life. I always say there's millions of people on this earth. They don't all have to love me. I don't have to love all of them. I just need to find my peeps.
That's right.
So it's so important. I could tell you firsthand, so important. So, and here they are.
It's interesting when you cross over, when we speak with agents who are with other companies, and if you don't know what you're missing, it's hard to point that out. It sometimes is a process.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
An environment you have to feel, you have to be able to experience that to know, hey, this is the environment I do better in. If you haven't, then you'll just know what you know.
Right. It also comes down to a scarcity mentality versus an abundance mentality.
Yep.
So if you're happy for the other person, truly happy that they are succeeding, it elevates you and them, and they are in turn happy for your success.
Yep. What's the expression? What goes around comes around. I mean, really, if you've got positive energy, those around you have positive energy, and it's synergistic.
Absolutely. It's like I always say, it's like the crab theory. If you put a crab into a bucket by itself, it will crawl out. If you put 2 or 3 in with it, they will hold each other down. So are you surrounding yourselves by crabs that are holding you down, or are you surrounding yourselves by people that elevate you up?
Right. You also get people though who think they want it, but then they're not sure they want it, or I'm not even going to say scared, but sometimes you get people who think they want it, but then they don't want to be that committed, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want that, or I want that, but I also like going to the beach on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and so it's
right. But you know who your peeps are. I mean, if somebody's always going to be playing hooky and inviting you to have drinks every night because they want to be the realtor by name, but they're not showing up, then intuitively that's not for you. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And then let's go to the 5 energy areas. There are 5 areas in which I need energy. Most likely they are much the same for you. I need spiritual energy, physical energy, emotional energy, mental energy, and business energy. And that is so, so true. I mean, I write it in my book, Mindset Reset. It's energizing yourself mentally, spiritually every single morning. Tapping into that alignment of breathing and getting your head into the right space, the physicality of it. So, just getting your blood pumping and more oxygen into your system, I love the emotional energy, which I was lacking in the morning. So I'm going to go through my hugs every morning before I leave. The mental energy, knowing that my day is planned. I've got a good productive day today. I know what I have to accomplish. And then at 4:30, my team is coming to my house for wine and cheese by the pool. So I'll get that energy. And then, of course, business energy, which is easy to focus on. We all know what we need to do there.
And all
So I
by
just wanna
11 o'clock
add-
in the morning.
I
What's
just want,
that?
yeah, all by 11 o'clock, but I just want to add, they broke this down because initially you have a limiting belief, like, how am I going to do all of that before 11 o'clock, right? And when we look at it, meditate and pray, spiritual energy, 1 minute. 1 minute. Can you thank your God? Can you thank the universe, whatever it is?
Gratitude journal.
Right,
Use
a
your
gratitude journal. 1 minute, 1 to 2 minutes you're writing. Exercise and eat. Okay, 1 hour. 1 hour you put on that physical energy. Hugs and kisses. I mean, that could take literally a
30
second.
seconds, right?
Right. So here we are, a couple of minutes a day just to laugh, to hug, to kiss our loved ones. And then planning calendar, 15 to 30 minutes a day. Looking at your plan over your coffee, taking a look at your day, your Google Calendar, your paper calendar, and then lead generate. That's where we're talking about 2 hours, 3 hours. So could you really get it all done? Absolutely. And then I have to just add here, because Mo Anderson lives on forever, and 7 hugs a day or things get weird. Okay, so we have to be the giver of that also. So 7 hugs a day is the energy plan.
Won't that be nice to be comfortable enough to do that?
Oh, I've been hugging people.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
7 hugs to the same person or 7 different people?
You, Paula.
Well, Paula, I bet you spread them out.
Depends
Paula's
on
a
what
big
you have
hugger.
in mind.
When everybody was leaving the fundraiser and this one Anand from our office, I love him. He's so cute. And he's like, all right, well, bye. And he was getting ready. I said, no. We hug.
Yeah.
Leaving.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yep.
So anytime we're getting drained though, it's going to be in one of those areas that we need to refill. Our battery is going down on one of those. And these kind of go along with the circles of life. The 7 circles inside the one thing that we should be monitoring: our spiritual, our business, our job, our relationships, right? So if one of these is going down, or if we're feeling drained, go to this page on 308 and see, what am I lacking? What am I cutting out that I felt wasn't that important? Like, I will tell you, there are weeks, and I'm sure ladies, you can, relate, that you're just running so much on business that you do neglect the significant other. You do neglect the spouse. You maybe don't give the kiss goodbye because you were just already on the phone. And then you're at your job and you're like, something's off. Like, I didn't say goodbye to my husband. I didn't give him a hug. Like, and that could throw the whole day off. So I just want to, especially physical energy for me, got the Peloton. I'm loving it. I'm down like 12 pounds.
Wow.
Whoa.
Great.
Woo.
Yeah. But it's not just the Peloton, right? It's the mindset, because I'm doing the it's everything. But okay, so now that's giving me more energy. But I figured that was actually like a little flat tire on one of my 4 wheels.
Right. No, it's filling up your gas tank. It's filling up your gas tank every single morning in all of these aspects. So you're fully loaded, ready to go. I recognized last week that I was lacking some fun in my life. So on Friday, I said to my husband, tomorrow we're having fun. So let's plan something and have a fun day. And we did, because I knew that, okay, we need to just let go and connect and just have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find learning is my vitamin. I love learning something new, whether, it's something work related or, I'm into big nutrition, whether I learn something there, that's my vitamin.
Yeah, same
We'll
thing.
figure it out.
But being learning based
Yeah.
is one of the attributes that is innate to a high achiever. If
That's right.
somebody who just doesn't say, okay, I read the book, I implemented 2 things, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good
Yeah.
for life.
Exactly. I'm good for life.
Good
I
for
went to the
life, really?
seminar, I'm good. We're voracious. I mean, we're like sponges. Like, it's never enough. It's never enough. I've never know enough. That's why I tap into the different Zoom calls. What am I missing? I have learning FOMO.
FOMO.
Somebody else learning that I'm not learning. So,
I'm making my team read a book. We're having book club every Monday at our team meetings now. I gave them like, you have 15 pages to read by Monday, and we're going to discuss them. Be ready.
What are you reading?
Oh, what is the heck is the name of that book? How to win people or influence people. What is the name of it?
Oh, How to Win Friends and Influence People by
That's
Dale
it.
Carnegie.
Carnegie.
Yes, yeah. I just had the books delivered the other day and handed them out at Monday's meeting, and I said, "Here's our new book that we're going to read, the first of many." Because both of my team members aren't really there. They're like, "We're not readers." I said, "Oh, now you are."
So the next book that we're reading
Audible.
is The Hard Hat. So these are light books. I love the John Gordon books because they're just
Yes.
light, they're parables, they're stories, they're short. And I think for teams, they can handle this sometimes better than
Yes.
we read. So
Another
that's
good
how-
one is, to read with your team is The Energy Bus.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
The energy bus. Yep.
That's a cute one.
Yep.
I'll just introduce The Advantage to me.
Oh, okay. By
The
Lencioni.
Advantage. Yes, Lencioni. For
Yeah.
rainmakers and team
Can we
leaders.
put all these books in an email or something so we have them so we can check?
Yeah, we need like a readers list, right? And there is we can put together a reading list.
You know
Let's
what's
do that.
another one? 212 Degrees. There's also a
Yep.
video on that.
Yep.
I
I've
love that
got 'em
video.
right here.
Yeah. Good video.
Oh, look at that, Orly.
There's
Oh,
the
I see
list, Cheryl. There's the list.
Yeah, there
my
we go.
John Maxwell books.
Yep.
Yep.
I have
There's
the
those
same-
books.
Yep.
My Tony
I'll have
Robbins,
to-
Life
Yeah.
by Design. So
I'm gonna have
Good
to
to
go to
rate.
Steinberg's library.
just come to my library. And I've got multiples of some of them, by the way.
Well, hold on. Orly, that's a good idea. You create a library at the new office where people can come and check out a book.
I love that. Yes. Yes.
Come and check out a book at Orly's
'Cause I
spot.
still have
All right.
boxes I haven't on the old house. So yes.
Ladies, so just in conclusion, I have to run at 311. 311 is in conclusion. We're at the end of the book. Once again, I've learned so much again reading this book like the
Oh.
20th time. But to apply, the same powerful focus will be yours to apply to other areas of your life. This is not just for your business. Hopefully, we've taken some lessons and we can apply them into our relationships. The last sentence says the big models and big goals will pull you up through your smaller goals to your highest achievement possible. You end up living larger, achieving the most you could achieve, and becoming the best that you can become. So I am grateful for you ladies. Many Wednesday mornings.
Yeah.
Much.
312 kind of sums it up. Think big, act bold, live large, and become the very best that you can become.
Yep.
Great way to end. Thank you.
It sure
Awesome.
is. This has been great. I've read the book multiple times, never have gotten this much out of it.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's
Ladies.
awesome. That's
I
really awesome.
enjoyed it.
Let's
Thank you,
let's
guys.
now go out and the Great Commission, share the word.
Absolutely.
And,
All right,
and
have a
next time,
wonderful
next
week.
time you're doing it, let me know. I want to do it again.
Okay.
We will.
Word.
We
Great
will.
job, guys.
Probably in the fall. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Hi, so this is the last one.
This is the last one.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
We're gonna do it again. Bye,
Okay.
guys.